Hey there, and welcome. All right, today we're going to put together a toolkit that'll help you find clear, reliable evidence for some of your most important decisions. Let's dive right in. You know the feeling, right? We've all been there. You're at a total crossroads on a project or a policy, and you have to make the right call. The pressure's on, and that decision, well, it's got to be backed by more than just a gut feeling. It's got to be backed by solid evidence. And look, the stakes are super high. This quote really gets to the heart of it. A few minutes of searching the smart way can be the thing that makes all the difference. It's not just about getting it right, it's about making sure you're not definitely wrong. But here's the crazy thing we're all up against. The problem isn't a lack of information. Oh no. It's that there is way too much. We're practically drowning in data, endless search results, ads, and just noise. So how in the world do you find the actual signal in all that chaos? Well, the answer isn't to spend days and days sifting through junk. The solution is to search smarter, not harder. And that means having the right tools for the right job. So that's what we're doing today. We are building your evidence-finding toolkit. Okay, first up, let's talk about the big questions. When you just need to get the lay of the land, to understand what the general consensus is on a topic, where do you even start? Let's frame this as a job to be done. Your specific job, your mission, is to answer one fundamental question. Does this thing, this program, this new approach, does it actually work? You need the best evidence you can possibly find. So, for that job, your number one tool is something called epistemologos. I want you to think of it like a giant specialized library of systematic reviews. You know, those studies that pull together all the research on one topic. Its entire reason for being is to help you answer that critical question. Does it work? Now, another great tool for getting the big picture is the TRIP database. This one's a little broader. It's your gateway not just to the core research, but also to things like clinical guidelines. It helps you see not only the research, but also how people are actually putting it into practice. Okay, so here's the bottom line, right? Knowing when to use which tool. If your question is a straightforward yes or no on whether something is effective, you go straight to epistemologos. If you need to understand the wider consensus, including those all-important official guidelines, TRIP is your go-to. All right, let's switch gears. Sometimes you don't need the whole 30,000-foot view. You need a specific answer, and you kind of need it now. So here's your new job. You have a super specific question, and you need to know what the absolute latest research says about it. But let's be real, you don't have time to read 10 dense journal articles. Well, for this, there's a tool called the literature. And honestly, the process is just brilliant. Step 1, you just ask your question. Step 2, it instantly scans PubMed, which is a massive database of research, for the best articles. And Step 3, it spits out an instant critical summary for you. It's like magic, incredibly powerful. Okay, now for a slightly different problem. What if you need to quickly compare what several different articles are saying? You need to see them all laid out, side by side, so you can spot the patterns, right? This is where the Consensus app is just fantastic. You ask a question like, does mindfulness reduce stress? And boom, it pulls the core finding from multiple studies and lays them out for you in a simple table. And just like that, in seconds, you can literally see the weight of the evidence. All right, for our last set of tools, we're going to get super practical. We're talking about connecting all this research to the real world. You need actual examples and the perfect quote to back up your work. So your job now is to figure out what's actually being done out there. You want to find examples of good practice, not just from some random blog post, but from legit official government sources. Okay, and you're going to love this, because the tool is something you already use every single day. It's Google. But here's the secret sauce, the pro tip. Instead of just searching your terms, you add cite:/gov.uk to your search. This one little command filters out all the noise, all the ads, and shows you only results from official UK government websites. Seriously, it's a total game changer for finding policy docs and official guidance. And for our very last tool, let's get super specific. You're writing a report, you're putting together a presentation, and you need that one perfect sentence from a journal article to back up your point. You know it's in there somewhere, but how on earth do you find it without reading the whole paper again? The answer? It's LitSense. This tool is like a search engine for the inside of research papers. It doesn't just find the article for you. It dives inside the papers and pulls out the exact sentences you need, giving you the perfect citation to make your case with total confidence. And there you have it, In just the last few minutes, we've just put together this awesome new evidence toolkit where every tool has a very specific job. So let's do a super quick recap. For the big picture, you've got epistemonics and the TRIP database. For those instant, synthesized answers, you've got the LitSense and the Consensus app. And to find that perfect supporting quote or a real-world example, you have LitSense and that Google Pro tip. And this is the whole point, really. It takes, 5 minutes? Maybe? 5 minutes with the right tool to find the right evidence. And like we said at the very beginning, that tiny bit of time can literally be the difference between a great decision and a really bad one. The takeaway here is that you don't have to be overwhelmed by information overload anymore. With this toolkit, you are now totally equipped to cut through all that noise and go straight to that beautiful evidence-based clarity we're all looking for. So I'm going to leave you with a question. Think about that challenge you have at work, that big decision that's on your plate. With these tools ready to go, what's the very first question you're going to answer?